I started at Porch almost or just hit my 4 year anniversary. I started on the phones. I was a sales rep. I did that for about 6 months. And then I moved over to doing lead generation. So I was calling inspectors and getting them to sign on with Porch. I did that for about 6 months and was told that they were going to shut down the office in Canton, Georgia, and they were opening an office in Dallas, Texas, and asked if I wanted to come be a team lead. So I moved and I did the team lead thing, and I did that for about 6 months. You'll notice a bit of a pattern here. Uh, and then I stepped into training, and training was one of the things that I fell in love with pretty rapidly. I loved teaching people about Porch, about the values, helping them understand the culture. Uh, I did that for a little while, and then I stepped into a sales management position, and that was super cool. I got to coach a lot more people, got to help build that up, and it really hit me that I needed to make some changes. When we went remote, I started to manage a team that was based exclusively in Mexico, and I didn't want to feel like I could be the only voice for this team. I'm a white dude that's based in the States. I can't spell Oaxaca or point to it on a map, right? So I needed to find a way to help my people find their voices so that I wasn't the voice of the team. And one of the ways that we've done this is with Foundations for Success and a lot of the talent development programs that we get to offer at Porch. It's one of my favorite things that I've gotten to do. Uh, I like to do that as a sales manager. I'm on the My Moving Center team, MMC. We also go by Money Making Crew because we're very money motivated. But that's me in a nutshell. I love watching mixed martial arts fights, especially UFC. I started Brazilian Jiu Jitsu when I was about 6 years old. And in the Army, my job was teaching the Modern Army Combatives program. So it was a lot of the same things. So when I get a chance to watch UFC, I rarely miss those fights. I would say ambition, values, and change. Ambition, I know it's one of those Porch values, which I'm going to talk about again. But I was very ambitious. I wanted to grow. I knew that I could do better. I wanted to do more than stay on the phones and make sales calls. I thought I could have a bigger impact if I taught people how to do what I was doing while I was, performing well on the phones. And I love that that's one of Porch's values. I say values because that's how I made the biggest change in my life. Was those values? No jerks, no egos. The no jerks part's pretty self-explanatory. Nobody wants to work with a jerk. The no egos part is probably the most important for leaders. I feel like if I have an ego, that my team would only ever get as good as me, and I'm a flawed dude. And if they have an ego, it would mean that they would fail silently, and I think that's unacceptable too, because we need to be able to coach people and help them win, which together we win. So I love winning together, and I love the no jerks, no egos. And then change. I was always willing to jump into a new role and a new position. When I told you a little bit about my story, I talked about taking one position and then another position and then another position. If you can adapt to change, you'll be able to make it pretty much anywhere. Change can be stressful, it can be scary, but if you have those tools, if you go to those developmental programs where you learn how to deal and manage with those, then change is easy. You just got to grieve the things you will lose, right? But change is not good or bad. It just is. So definitely change. My favorite thing about Porch has always been the people. I've met some amazing humans here. Andy Noyes is one of the best managers, the best mentors that I've ever had in my life. When I told Andy that I wanted to get into talent development, the first thing that he did was recommend that I read a book. And the second thing that he did was introduce me to the author. Andy is one of those people that's just super impactful. The people is always going to be my favorite thing about Porch. Foundations for Success. We've had over 200 graduates from Foundations for Success, and it is Porch's first talent development program. where we're not focusing on skills that are going to be exclusive to Porch. These are skills that are going to help you be a better person, a better leader, a better family member. We talk about, you know, building relationships. We talk about conflict management, disagreeing agreeably. We talk about demonstrating leadership. So it's one of my proudest accomplishments. It's one of the coolest things I think that I've gotten to do at Porch. So much. Number one, the mute button. It's, you never have it on at the right time. You either get caught chewing, that's how I learned Provecho, or you're muted when you're trying to say something important. But I think the biggest thing that I've learned is probably to separate a space for yourself. It's one of the things that I always try to get better at. I'm a messy guy sometimes, so my desk isn't always the best. But being able to separate your workspace from your living space will help you get in and out of work mode. And fam, you gotta come out of work mode. Take your breaks, you know, get up, move around, get away from the laptop for a second, right? Your break shouldn't be switching tabs and going to Facebook because you're still staring at the same screen. And it's important that you drink water, get some sunlight, step away for a minute. So that's the biggest thing. Separate your space and take your breaks. Ren was the person that introduced me to Porch. And when they would talk to me about the company, they never told me about the sales. They always talked to me about the values. No jerks, no egos. Together we win. Be ambitious. Solve each problem. And, you know, at first I thought that they had been, you know, sold a dream. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, it sounds good. But I was like, I could say that. I need a paycheck, you know? But when I saw how real it was for people, and how much those values, if you really apply them to your life, you can change what you're doing, and you can course correct. Was very amazing for me. Ren has had the most positive impact in my life as a human, as a friend, both here at Porch, professionally. If you haven't had the chance, you should absolutely meet Ren. They're amazing. Following that would be Andy Noyes. I mentioned him earlier. One of the best mentors that I had. When I first told Andy that I wanted to jump into the talent development stuff and start building some of that at Porch, Andy told me to go fail. And it was weird for me at first that he would just say, go fail. But what he meant was to make a revolving door decision. If I wanted to try something, to be ambitious and creative, the worst case scenario would be that it didn't work and I was standing in the same spot. But that helped so much. I had this fear of failure before, and it would hit me so hard that I often wouldn't start things. So like having the safety, the ability to go fail, to be creative, to be ambitious, to try this thing out, and then not failing in it and it turning out to be this great thing that's had, you know, an impact on people is even cooler. But yeah, Ren and Andy for all of those reasons. I love them both. Amazing humans. Be yourself. A lot of the things that I try to coach is people will jump on the phone and they'll try to sound like me. And that's not you. Most of you that are watching this are based in Mexico. You might have a bit of an accent to me, but as long as we hear you and it sounds like we say where you're from instead of what did you say, you're gonna do so well here if you just be yourself. And then you're gonna hear those values. And a lot of companies have values, and sometimes they're just words that people put up on a wall and then forget about. The values are as real to you as you make them. For me, I was able to change the course that I wanted to be on, to find different roles at Porch, and to learn what I wanted to be when I grow up, and to start thinking about talent development and how I would build that and what it would look like. You can do the same thing if you make those values and you invest and you want to make a difference. What we're looking for are people that are willing to talk to people, right? You're going to hear some stressful homeowners. They're stressed out. They're getting them through a move. All of us have moved. We know how hard that is. So we're looking for people who can be empathetic on the phone, who can be ambitious about, closing and offering the products that you'll be offering. We're looking for people that are willing to talk. You got to be a talker. The gift of gab. If you've been told you've got the gift of gab, you'll do well on the phones. And we'd love to have you. The rest of it, come in open-minded. We can teach you the rest, right? When you go to a meeting and you see your managers calling out those top sales performers, reach out to them, ask them what they're doing different, and that'll help with the ambition. But we're gonna train all of it. But if you're asking yourself, is this for you? Gotta be a talker is the biggest thing I can tell you. To apply, you want to reach out to your manager. We like to make sure that your managers are aware of the process for talent development. We think everyone should apply. What I do is I try to use a lot of my experience to give basic public speaking knowledge that will help you with your career at call center. I do want it to be applicable to Porch, but the rest of it is going to be you learning a lot from your peers. The way that Foundations works is we give you scenarios and you tell us a story. So the story might be anything to you. The scenario is going to be, what is the most significant moment in your life? And I want you to learn how to do a 2-minute speech. And we go through these series of 2-minute speeches where we tie them to the principles that Foundations is based off of. There's 29 principles of leadership that's very Dale Carnegie based. There is some Maxwell inspiration in there as well, but a lot of it's Carnegie inspired. So we go through these principles, you tie it back, and we learn so much from each other because we all have these shared experiences. For a lot of people, it's very impactful because they learn how to be vulnerable, how to be themselves. For other people, it's impactful because they've never had that moment where they are learning how to speak, how to use their own voice. And for a lot of my dudes, we don't talk about our stuff enough. We grow up thinking that the only emotion that we can express is anger. So when we're given these opportunities to express ourselves, it's great for our mental health. It's great for our own development. It's great to learn ways to plan. And for a lot of people, it's been very impactful. So I can't recommend it enough. I love teaching it. It's my favorite thing that I get to do at Porch, and it refreshes those values for me every time I get the chance to teach it. We've actually got a class tonight. But yeah, to sign up again, reach out to your managers. Tell them that you're looking for talent development opportunities. There's a few that are offered. Foundations is definitely my favorite, but also Becoming a Person of Influence, and a couple of other ones that you should definitely check out. I love you all. Wash your hands. As far as who Mickey is as a guy, I try to be the same guy that you see at work. I'm very passionate about helping people find their voice and using my platform to do that, whether it's the platform that I have as a manager or the platform that I have on Facebook with friends, calling people out on their toxic stuff, and hopefully getting called out on mine. We've all got stuff that we're trying to work on. We'd love to have you here. We're definitely hiring. There's open positions, and come grow. It's been a great journey for me. It's been an opportunity for me to grow, and I want to make sure that I'm able to share those opportunities. I want to help people, and you'll find a lot of people here with the same mentality, especially our Mexican-based peeps. That's been some of the greatest that I've seen. Jose Jimenez is another one of those great leaders that we have that's based in Mexico. I can't speak highly enough. Check out the spotlight that we did for my longer words for JJ, but JJ's amazing, and so many more. Romeo, Frankie. I've got some great leaders, and there's definitely great leaders on the other teams that you might go to. Yeah, absolutely. Follow Remote Partners at Porch on Facebook, on all your social media. I love it. I'm not even looking for a remote position at Porch anymore, obviously, but I love seeing the success stories. Have been some of my favorite things. My team's doing Weird Hat Wednesday next week to mix it up, take a break from the monotony that comes with working from home sometimes. And we'll try to share some of those pictures on there as well. But it's a good way for us to find out what's going on at Porch, especially Porch in Mexico. It's been a great way for us to connect with each other. And I really hope that for you, it's a great way for you to find a new position, that next step forward in your life, whether it's, finding a new position, at Porch, or maybe, finding that old friend if you're already at Porch that is on a different team and you haven't spoken to in a while. I think it's one of the coolest things that we do, and I can't support remote partners at Porch on Facebook enough. It's one of my favorite things.